Now on Up North Live News at 6.
It's food. It is absolutely food is the number one need that we're answering.
Northern Michigan food banks facing an unknown future when it comes to federal funding for some projects. The leader of the Republican-controlled House in Lansing recapping what they have accomplished in the first 3 months of the year, plus reaction from Democratic lawmakers. And we are heading to Owosso for this week's Exploring Michigan.
This is Up North Live News at 6 on 7 and 4.
Northern Michigan food banks are facing two challenges right now. First, a growing need from the community they serve for more help, more food. And second, with changes and cuts in Washington, a very uncertain future when it comes to their federal funding or partnerships with agencies that get federal funding. Tonight, a look at the impact that's already being felt and what food banks are asking from those who are blessed enough to be able to help.
It's what we're built on, neighbors helping neighbors.
And every year, more and more neighbors have been turning to Bacon for a little help.
We had almost 9,000 visits to our facility last year. The majority of those are for food assistance.
Last year, Benzie area Christian neighbors saw a 23% growth in need of what they offer.
It's food. It is absolutely food is the number one need that we're answering.
Keeping these shelves full and keeping up with the demand of people in need has never been easy or cheap. But Bacon has relied on a collaboration with other nonprofits to maximize what they offer.
Bacon is very much a community-supported organization. We do not receive federal funding directly. However, we benefit tremendously from federally subsidized programs through our partners, through our coalitions and collaboratives with Feeding America and Food Rescue. So if they face funding cuts, that is absolutely going to trickle down to our organization.
And it's starting to. The USDA facing cuts from the White House announcing that hundreds of thousands of pounds of food and tens of millions of dollars won't be coming to Michigan in the next several months. Feeding America, one of the larger agencies impacted, explaining, quote, "We oppose efforts to cut resources to those vitally needed programs. We also advocate for tax policies that strengthen charitable giving incentives, policies to encourage the donation of surplus wholesome food, and tax incentives that help lift working families out of poverty." While Bacon doesn't directly get federal funds, they count on agencies who do, like Feeding America. And without those, things get more challenging and more expensive here.
We receive about 15% of our food through those funding sources. So if that gets cut, we are going to have to go out on the open market to grocery stores and purchase that food at retail cost versus, significantly reduced savings.
Like many organizations that rely on federal funds, Bacon is having to make plans without a lot of information right now.
The question becomes, what kind of emergency is this? Is it a short-term one that's going to resolve itself? Or are we looking at a new funding scenario for years into the future?
What they do know is that folks will show up here every day in need of food. With the uncertainty out of Washington, now may be the perfect time for everyone to embrace their mission of neighbors helping neighbors.
So we can support the organizations that we believe in locally. So let's keep our money here locally. We help our neighbors, we help one another. People can donate by going to our website, stopping by our office, see what we do here in the building, and making contributions online.
And Bacon says they've had multiple discussions about planning for the future, and they're confident they will be around for another 40 years to serve the community. But like many organizations and nonprofits across a broad spectrum of services, they simply just don't know how long the cuts and freezes will be in place, and that makes it very difficult to make long-term plans.
Last Friday, the Trump administration issued a termination of services notice to legal providers who represent migrant children. Staff at the Michigan Immigrant Rights Center say they've lost nearly all of their funding. Our Allie Baxter looked into the impact. She joins us live now from the Content Center. And Allie, you spoke with one of the center's attorneys today. What did she say is going to happen now?
Maya, without the funding for these attorneys, any work that was happening with their cases will be paused. The worst case scenario is without representation, these children will be deported if no one is presenting a case on their behalf. Attorneys estimate 800 migrant children just in Michigan will be affected by this funding cut. Children who already have attorneys won't have them in the future. Attorneys say without help, these children won't have anyone to defend them against deportation by applying for protections they are eligible for. Migrant children are eligible for protection under asylum law.
We definitely have cases, particularly in Traverse City, where we have been representing children for special immigrant juvenile status and asylum. There are some children in a part of the federal custodial system called the Unaccompanied Refugee Minor Program, specifically in Traverse City as well.
Staff explained they are looking to restructure so they can continue to be present for the communities they serve. However, that means not doing as much work for children. Staff say they will continue to offer some educational services for children, but it will be hard to cover this significant of a funding loss. They tell me it's a possibility the state could offer some financial help. Live in the Content Center, Allie Baxter, back to you.
It's been 90 days since the new legislature has taken over in the state of Michigan. Lawmakers spent today celebrating the changes they've made and the ones they're planning on making in the future. Speaker Matt Hall says a lot of the productivity has been done through bipartisan work. Carter Landis has more on Speaker Hall's news conference today.
The current newly elected state legislature has been hard at work for the past 90 days. Speaker Matt Hall holding a press conference Wednesday afternoon to discuss what progress has been made in crucial departments. That includes his road plan, education, and goals to cut back on government spending.
We have to find efficiencies in our budget, and we have to find a way in our existing budget to fix the roads. And that's what the bipartisan House Roads Plan does.
Speaker Hall also highlighting that these plans are bipartisan. However, Representative John Fitzgerald, the House's Democratic floor leader, doesn't buy that the work has been across the aisle. He believes now is the best time to make that work happen with a split government in Michigan, but that it is not happening.
With all of the news that we get out of D.C., with all of the indecision that we get out of the House of Representatives at the moment, and House Republicans are doing a great job at changing the goalpost constantly.
Speaker Hall's education plan includes changing how M-STEP testing is done. He thinks teachers could better learn their students' progress from tests at the beginning, middle, and end of the academic year. Hall wants to see major change to the education system in Michigan.
We're completely overhauling the Michigan merit curriculum and adding flexibility and modernizing this so it'll work better for our kids.
However, Representative Fitzgerald doesn't see these policies as helpful to Michigan students.
Every child is different, every classroom is different, but we do need to have some standards that are set and move forward from there.
That was Carter Landis reporting. Speaker Hall also spoke about wanting to reduce funding for projects in sanctuary cities. Fitzgerald says Democrats have also worked on their own road plan, and those discussions will continue.
1 year ago today, the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed after a container ship ran into it, a disaster that brought more awareness to declining infrastructure. Now, there's a new piece of technology designed to detect faults before anyone else can, and it was invented right here in Michigan. Here's UpNorthLive's Daniel Zivian with a sneak peek.
While the collapse in Baltimore was a shock for that community and beyond, no one could have been less surprised than Dr. Nizar Lajnef, a civil engineering professor at Michigan State University.
We did nothing for many decades, and now we are hitting the point where most of the infrastructure is toward the end of its lifetime. And we don't have the resources to rebuild everything. That's one thing. And also, we don't have the resources to monitor continuously every single bridge.
Lajnef and his colleagues have created a system called MIDAS, short for Mechanics-Informed Damage Assessment of Structure. Sensors placed at strategic points track how bridges behave when a truck goes over or when the wind blows, and report anomalies. The sensor can fit in the palm of your hand.
They have AI on board, so they go there, they sit, they listen, they learn, and they will call you if there is a problem. They will transmit the information to you. We're talking about below $100 a piece, and it will get below $10 a piece eventually on large-scale production.
Lajnef says they first tested MIDAS on the Mackinac Bridge and have since deployed it to more than 20 bridges worldwide. He claims that if MIDAS was installed on the Francis Scott Key Bridge, the collision would not have been as catastrophic.
We would know that to go and reinforce the weak points. So even if it gets hit, it's not going to collapse right away. It's going to give us enough time to save lives, enough time to get people out, and also it gives us strategies to cost-effectively fix it.
In northern Michigan, I'm Daniel Zivian reporting.
Roscommon County family needs your help finding their missing dog. Nicole White and her family of St. Helen are asking if anyone has seen their 3-year-old dog, Anakin. Anakin's a tan and white husky mix with one brown eye, one blue eye. Nicole says last Saturday, Anakin was outside playing with one of her children on East West Branch Road when he wandered off and disappeared. Family says a neighbor driving past saw an older lady in an older black Ford pickup truck take Anakin.
We want him home. He's our baby. Like, he is such a mama's boy. He follows me around everywhere. He lays on me. I leave the house. He's whining and crying and looking out the window until I come home. Like, I've saved his life multiple times. And, like, I just want him home.
Nicole says Anakin was wearing a bright orange and black boundary collar that beeps when he leaves the yard. The family has called multiple shelters across the county, but so far, no one's seen Anakin. Anyone with any information is urged to contact Nicole, and we will have that contact information posted with this story on our website, UpNorthLive.com.
A northern Michigan woman is opening up about losing tens of thousands of dollars to an online romance scam. After being drawn in by a fake celebrity impersonator, she was emotionally manipulated through love bombing tactics. Over time, she was convinced to send more than $20,000 before realizing she was involved in an elaborate romance scam. Coming up tonight on Up North Live News at 11, the message she's hoping to spread by sharing her story and a warning from experts on the growing trend of online romance fraud.
Another quiet day is expected around northern Michigan tomorrow with warmer temperatures. But the weekend, some messy weather returns with a mix of snow, freezing rain, and also some rain mixed in all that as well. So we'll talk about that and the main weather in just a few minutes.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.